Okay, in this RC passage, the first paragraph begins by talking about desertification. What desertification is, that is creation of desert-like conditions, and then how it happens. It is caused due to vagaries of weather and climate and or mismanagement of the land, or a combination of both. And then it goes about giving examples of a place, Sahel, and how it gets desertified or gets turned into a desert, that is by increased size of livestock herd. Now the second paragraph goes about discussing how desertification can be combated, that is by ecologically, that is by determining the carrying capacity of for the rangeland, or in other words the amount of grazing stock, right? Now it says that since there are a number of factors that determine the carrying capacity of the land, which are which make the carrying capacity of a particular land inconclusive for the scientific community, which is quite understandable. But in other words, it also creates confusion. But on the other hand, it also creates confusion for the land managers, because then they are unable to manage the land. So therefore, an ecologically acceptable carrying capacity should be given to the land managers, and for that they need to the carrying capacity of the land need to be first established and enforced. Now the third paragraph discusses what are the other needs of land managers. The other need of land managers is that they should be given a now the land managers should find a mean or a more informative statistical measures or statistical or quasi-statistical measures to characterize adequately the variability of the climate. So in this way, the land managers will be able to resolve the problems that are faced by states like places like Sahel and other arid or semi-arid regions. So in short, the third paragraph discusses that land managers need to know about the statistical and quasi-statistical measures, which cannot be a single number but a complex number instead, which describes the climate regime of such arid and semi-arid regions. Now let's move on to discuss the questions that follow. Now the first question says, the author is primarily concerned with criticizing a social attitude. Is he criticizing a social attitude? No, there is no social attitude that he is criticizing. Therefore, option A can be eliminated. Option B says suggesting an approach to solving problems. Suggesting an approach to solving is a way to general option, and since it is not an approach to the passage is not an approach to solving all problems, therefore option B can also be eliminated. Option C says the author is primarily concerned with explaining the mechanics of a process. Definitely it explains the mechanics of the process of preventing desertification, and what its implications are. The implications, as the passage suggests, would be the agricultural failures that happened in the past would be prevented, and therefore option C is the correct answer. Option D says defending the theories of ecological scientists. Since the passage does not discuss ecological scientists or any of their theories, therefore option D can also be eliminated. Hence the correct answer is option C. Now look at the second question. The second question says, according to the passage, which of the following contributed to the desertification of Sahel? The answer to this question is given in the first paragraph. Take a look. The first paragraph says, very clearly mentions that such ecological deterioration in Sahel has been likened in several ways to the increased size of livestock herds, and therefore the answer to question number 2 is option 1, the size of livestock herds grazing on land. The quality of land in Sahel, definitely it's not mentioned. The amount of rainfall in 1967, the third option is incorrect, because the passage clearly states that the amount of rainfall was not of any consequence. If the agricultural policies were correct, if the land was managed properly, then it could have been prevented. Therefore option 3 is also incorrect. So the correct answer is option A, first one only. Now the third question says, the author of the passage would be most likely to agree with which of the following statements concerning desertification? A says it is a result of factors beyond the control of science. Clearly this is incorrect, because desertification is a consequence of vagaries of climate and weather, and also mismanagement of the land. So the passage is silent about whether it can be controlled by science or not. In fact, the passage also states that management of land can prevent desertification. So option A can be eliminated. Option B says it's a problem largely affecting arid regions. The passage also talks about arid semi-arid regions getting desertified. Therefore, option B can also be eliminated. C says it may be attributable to faulty agricultural policies sometimes. This is the correct answer because this is a possibility. Certainly, there is a possibility that desertification does happen because of faulty agricultural policies sometimes. Option D says it is never the result of drastic climate change alone. The passage does not state any of this. Therefore, option D can also be eliminated. The next question says it can be inferred from the passage that the concept of carrying capacity of land is. Now look at this paragraph. The second paragraph, it says that the carrying capacity of land is dependent upon a number of factors. It says, should the carrying capacity be geared to the best, the average or the poorest years? Which combination of statistical measures would be most meaningful for the planning of long-term development of rangelands, etc., etc. And finally it goes about saying that such inconclusiveness within the scientific community, while understandable, creates confusion for the land managers. That means inconclusiveness about carrying capacity of land is understandable. So that means the correct answer to this question is that the carrying capacity of land is debatable rather than firmly established. So therefore the answer is option D. A says theoretical rather than practical. Not it does not concur with the information given in the passage, because the passage does says that there should be an ecologically acceptable carrying capacity to be established and enforced. So therefore it is practical. It is a practical idea to have give a carrying capacity of land. So therefore option A can be eliminated. B says basically political rather than ecological. The relationship between determining the carrying capacity of land and politics is not given. So B also can be eliminated. Generally misinterpreted by ecologists. The passage does not talk about ecologists and how they misinterpret this, the carrying capacity of land. The passage only talks about land managers being rather confused about which scientific community to follow and which scientific suggestion to follow, and therefore they end up choosing any one of the solutions given by the community. So therefore option C can also be eliminated. So the answer is option D. Now the next question says, according to the passage, a good statistical description of the climate regime of an arid or semi-arid ecosystem would probably be. Clearly the answer is complex, because the last line of the passage says that that a good statistical description of the climate regime of an arid or semi-arid ecosystem would not be a single number. So therefore the number would be complex, and therefore all the other options are incorrect. Hence the answer is option